Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Good morning, Neville.
Good morning, CK. I hope you're well on this bright sunny day.
Of course, we are good. So far, so good. Today is day 9. And
Day 9.
Yeah, I would like to share some information from India. So what is happening is while the government and all the state governments and a lot of sane people, a lot of COVID warriors are working to protect us. And there are some elements which are also creating false and fake narratives. So earlier, the case used to be that, the fake news and the real news used to go together in social media. People never objected to it. But I have been seeing this change now, that moment there is a fake troll which comes and creates a narrative, there are hundreds and hundreds of people which jump on that troll and, ask him to, shut up, or they use all kinds of language. So there is a mass movement which is coming out and trying to stop the fake news. So which is quite interesting, because the government has, because we are living in a democratic world, the government has not imposed any limitations because there is freedom. But the people themselves are coming and stopping this fake trolls.
Brilliant. That's really music to my ears, because that's how you stop this fake news going around. Bad news is going to be everywhere, but it's differentiated between the bad news that people have orchestrated and the bad news that's real. We can deal with more if we know that it's the reality. We can deal with it a lot better because we start to believe the sources. So this is all about, where does it come from? So, and I've seen some very similar things. Someone puts a video up on a WhatsApp group or a chat group, and someone says, what's the source for this? What's the validation? And sometimes people will give the validation, and other times they take it down because there is no validation, and it's quite clear with some things, it's been orchestrated, even with the cleverest video artists out there. You can see that that it's not real. So it's really good news that people in your country are stamping it down. I've seen people really stamp it down, use very interesting language to these people. But what is all this? Okay, what are we dealing with here? We're actually dealing with information that's coming to us. We're moving it through our ears, using these things. We're listening, we're thinking. And the people that are responding there are giving feedback, which is brilliant, because actually the world doesn't give much feedback. We just sit there and take it. And as business owners, we sit there and take it too. And we don't actually talk to our teams, to the people that work with us or for us or above us, and we don't generate that communication link where feedback, however bad the news is or however good the news is, it's just feedback. And as Ken Blanchard says, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Let's just think about what that really means. It's breakfast. When do you have breakfast? What part of the day do you have breakfast?
Well, it's usually in the morning.
Exactly, it's usually in the morning. Some people that work different shifts might have it late in the evening, but effectively it's breaking the fast. And that's where it comes from. So it's breakfast. So usually in the morning. When does the morning happen for most people? When does the morning happen for you?
So the breakfast time usually for me and most of the neighborhood is about 8 to 9.
Yeah, so it's really in the morning. So you've got up, you've got dressed, you've been washed, And breakfast could be a coffee and a croissant, or as we would call it, a full English. You know, sausages, bacon, eggs, toast, beans, etc., etc. But the point is, it's the time of day that you get feedback. So if you're having feedback as breakfast, you're setting your day off in the best way possible. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think the way you put it, I think especially when you talk about feedback, I think we also sit together as a family during breakfast and we talk to each other, and we get to know, because the mind is fresh, we get to know many things, what is going on with each individual in the family, which is sort of a feedback, I guess.
It is sort of a feedback, you know, like anything's feedback. I look at the sun, the sun shining and smiling at me. That's feedback. So if we start, you know, feedback for some reason has this hook of criticism. So throw the hook away. It's feedback. We're having a conversation. I'm sharing something with you, you're sharing something with me. And if we get the right relationship going, just as a family at breakfast, we can all go and feel happy about it. Because we know what we're all doing, we're getting on with life, we're enjoying ourselves. And guess what? When we come back in the evening and the family get together again, there's more feedback. So what did you do today? What was good about your day? You know, what didn't you like about your day? What are you going to do better tomorrow?
Right.
Now, there's no criticism in here. So a lot of people in the working arena think, oh, I can't give feedback. I don't know how to give feedback. Whatever I say always comes out wrong. You know, and I'm really trying to help this person, but I just start off with, you're doing it wrong. Well, actually, why don't you think about how you start things off? If you think you're doing it wrong, so in other words, you're getting feedback from the person that you are doing it wrong. So then you might be doing it right to someone else, but it's the information you're giving to someone else that's important. So if you start off with, you're wrong, how does that make you feel? If I started every conversation that you and I had with, CK, you're wrong, how would that make you feel?
Well, I will see this as a constructive feedback up to a limit. But then if you're always criticizing while giving feedback, and if the limit, my personal limit, crosses, then I will think that it's a negative feedback that you're giving. So
Exactly. And who knows, you've really explained that really well, because I don't know what your limit is. You may have reached your limit an hour before we have this conversation, in which case then doesn't matter what I'm going to say, because I'm always going to say it the same way. So you've already reached your limit, and what you've done is you've just switched off. Yeah, all right. Keep going, Neville. You know, not a problem. You just keep walking and talking to me. But you're not saying that, you're thinking it. And I'm not feeling it because I'm just going and doing the normal things that I always do. So when you are speaking with other people, you know, and don't get me wrong, this is not necessarily easy. But once you start doing it, it becomes easier. So if you're having a great day, you might well have a smile on your face. If the other person, you recognize the other person hasn't got a smile on their face, and normally they're very a smiley person, you don't have to say, you're not looking really good, are you? Yeah. Shall we go for a coffee and, you know, break this mundane arena? It's saying the same thing, but in a very different way. And the way we can really help our teams, because they're now very remote, is we can become more aware of how they're looking. You know, as we said yesterday, some people have got lots of screens up all the time so they can see everyone all the time. I think that's a distraction, if you want my honest opinion. It's a bit like a CCTV camera looking at everybody and ticking people in every time they go and make a coffee or go to the toilet or something, you know. But again, that's feedback. And the issue is, how do we use it? And more importantly, for our friends, colleagues, working colleagues, supply chain, how do we give it? And giving feedback is really, really important. Go ahead. Sorry, you're interrupted.
Interestingly, the example that you just gave about multiple screens on your PC.
Yep.
What I've been noticing for past couple of days that since people are in lockdown, they are now publishing those screenshots on social media. And
yep, seen it all over. Even our Prime Minister's doing it, including he put his own unique ID up there, so someone could actually hack into it, you know?
Oh.
Hello. Not clever.
So I think the point that you made today is very important. Feedback, and more so constructive feedback, is what is required from both sides. The person who's taking it and also person who's giving it. So from both parties, the feedback has to be in a constructive, should be considered constructive, not destructive feedback. So I think, and this applies to the fake trolls also. So I think
absolutely, yep. And if you see fake news, or what you believe is fake news out there, go and challenge it. Where does this come from? You know, where's the source? And if someone says, well, I don't know, it came from a friend, well, go and ask your friend. You know, this is a way we can help other people not spread fake news. So, because there are some people, go ahead.
So interestingly, what is going on is that, so people are very clever. So one entity creates a fake news, and the person who has a public kind of a profile, who has millions of followers, will get that news and forward it or like it,
yep.
share it.
Yep.
So
yep.
when somebody says, hey, what you're doing, you're spreading fake news. So very cleverly, these guys will say, oh, it's not me, I just liked it. So I have freedom of speech, I have freedom of expression. So I have freedom to like something. So this is what these guys are doing. You know, somebody else create a news who's a not known entity, and the known entity basically just forward it.
But the interesting thing here is, we go back to the 4 elements of having a mind-fit mind, okay? How we think, how we feel, what drives us, and our social connectivity. If that person is liking it for no other reason than they just like it, are they thinking? What is it telling us about that person? Maybe it's telling us nothing, that person isn't thinking, and they're just using their influence power just to, you know, build up more of a connection. So, for instance, when I see something comical, I'll like it, you know. If people look at something and I've liked it and they think, well, that's not very comical, in fact, that's quite insulting, does that mean that I'm being insulting? Well, no, I didn't want to insult you, but I found it funny. I was in the mood to find it funny. If I'd have looked at it now, maybe I thought I would think otherwise. But in the moment, I found it funny. I may have just seen a comedian on the stage and this just reinforced it. I found it funny, you know. This is where, if we could prejudge people really quickly here. And the whole point is, you can't judge people by a tweet.
So that's the whole point. That is the whole point, Neville. As a person who can influence masses, you have to be responsible. In fact, going back to the first information that you gave us,
yeah,
you are responsible what kind of feedback you're sending to people.
Yep, you're absolutely right, and you know, and we should all be conscious of it, but we're not conscious of it all the time, you know. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else, you know, because social media is there for one moment and gone for the next. Things that happen instantaneously. Should we be more careful? Well, life's too short in some respects. And you should probably be more careful with certain things than others. But this is judgment. This is your personal judgment. So, the moral of the day is feedback. Don't be worried about it. Use it so that everyone grows. Feedback is the breakfast of champions, not dinner, not lunch, not afternoon tea.
Right.
It's the breakfast. Start on the right foot, and the rest of the day really goes fast, and you'll enjoy it.
Fantastic, Neville. I think it's a good advice. I think most of the viewers should start following it. They should feel responsible and also give feedback. And whatever going on with the life, they should continue giving feedback.
Absolutely. That's how we grow.
Right. So thank you very much. Have a successful day today. Be safe, Neville.
Be safe. Everyone be safe. And say thank you to our Corona warriors, which I think is a brilliant term. Brilliant term.
Yes. Thank you so much. In fact, the people who are going out in this situation, they are not compelled to go out. They're doing it willingly. So I think that is why we call them Corona warriors.
Absolutely.
All
See you
right.
tomorrow.
See you
Day
tomorrow.
10.
Same time. Bye-bye.